Good evening, everyone, and welcome to OET Listening Prowess. This is me, Shaji, joining you from 𝐻𝐻 Academy. Yes, we've come with yet another OET Listening Live to help you with your listening. And how are you all doing? I hope you're all doing good and you're all practicing. How is your practice going? Are you practicing? Are you doing your script writing? Are you doing at least one material every day? Are you focusing on the areas that you're weak in? Are you doing that? Let me know in the comments. And what are the things that are troubling you? What's that one thing that bothers you the most while practicing your OET listening? You can let me know about it. And as you know, we have three parts: part A, part B, and part C. And in part A, you will have 24 questions. Those are like filling the blanks questions. You'll have to answer those questions with a word or short phrase. And for part B, you will have 6 questions, okay? And those are multiple choice questions. You'll have a question and 3 options for that. In part B, you have 6 questions, and for each question, you'll be given some time to read it. Okay, and when it comes to part C, you are going to have 12 questions in 2 extracts. Extract 1, 6 questions, extract 2, 6 questions. And during that time, here, you're not given time separately for each question, but for all the 6 questions in extract 1, you'll be given 90 seconds. During that 90 seconds, you have to finish reading all the 6 questions. And I have told you 2 methods in which you can do it. I'm getting into the details of part C because we are going to do part C extract 2 today. Usually what we do is, what we always do is, we do part A extract 1 in one live, then we do part A extract 2 in another live, then part B in another live, and part C extract 1 in one live, and part C extract 2 in another live. So in the previous live, what we did was part C extract 1. So in this live, we will be doing part C extract 2. So I'm giving you more details about part C extract 2, not part C extract 2, part C, because there will be some students who are new, and there will be some students who still don't have an idea about how to do part C. So during this 90 seconds time, that's very crucial. You can either start reading the question options. That way you can go reading the questions, then the options, then you can read next question, the options, next question, the options. That is something which you can do. All right, so 30th question, 31st question, 32nd question, that way you can actually go. Or what you can do is you can read the questions alone without reading the options. You're reading all the questions, 31 to 36. You're reading all the questions. You're not reading anything else, the questions, and then you're going back to the first question and you're reading the options as well. What is the advantage of this method is that when you are reading, while you're reading the questions, imagine the 90 seconds was over when you reached question number 34, and now you have 2 more questions, 35 and 36. So you'll have to answer those questions even though you haven't read that question. So you have no idea about it at all. But if you have read the questions alone, if you're following the questions alone options later method, then you have already read the question. So if the time is over by the time you reach the 32nd question, you'll still be able to answer the questions properly because you know the questions at least, okay? So, but some students find it difficult, this reading the questions alone and then the options. That method is actually confusing for some students because they feel like they don't get the connection with the options. If they don't read the questions and options together, they find it really hard to get the connection between those two. So if you are one of those people, you can go for the other method. But I always recommend you try both the methods and select one which works best for you. Don't listen to what others are saying. Just try it on your own and see which one works best for you. Okay, and now I'll also explain the format of our live. The live is done in such a way that you will be able to do the questions that we're showing on the screen. So first, what I'm doing, I'll be giving some introduction, some information about your listening, and after that we will be moving on to the audio. So the audio will be played and the questions will be displayed on the screen. Okay, so for that questions, you have to write the answers. And once you write the answers for that question, we will be discussing that answers with the help of audio script. I think even in the previous classes I've mentioned the advantage of discussing with the help of audio script, because you're getting the script with you. Okay, you can even understand the words you haven't heard before. Okay, like maybe when you were listening to the audio, you did not understand certain words. That's fine. Okay, when you have an audio script, when you're discussing with the help of an audio script, it would be easier for you to understand those words, and also the answers will be marked there. You will be able to see that. So I have few people telling me good evening. Reba Rijo, good evening. Good evening, Reba. Anina Robin, good evening. Good evening, Anina. Nabi Baiju, good evening. Yes, so happy to see you all here. I hope you're all ready for the practice. So like I said, the questions will be displayed on the screen, audio will be played, you have to listen to the audio, you have to write the answers, and then we will be discussing it with the help of audio script. Okay, and you can also type in your answers in the comments. If there is any correction, I'll correct it. If you have any questions related to it, you can ask. I'll be giving explanation for you, but even after the explanation you don't understand it, it's totally fine. So part C extract, you should try to get at least 4. No one should get below 4, so you should get somewhere between 4 and 6. It should be 6, but if you're not able to get 6, at least 4 you should try to score. Okay, yes. So shall we begin? Are you all ready? Let me know in the comments. Okay, if you're ready, we'll start. Yes, I hope you're all ready. So now we'll start. The audio will be played and the questions will be displayed on the screen, and you can start doing it.
You hear a physician called Dr. Hubert Johnson discuss improving efficiency at a healthcare practice. You now have 90 seconds to read questions 37 to 42. Hi everyone, my name's Dr. Hubert Johnson, and I've been asked to speak to you about my experiences in the healthcare industry concerning something that affects all health professionals, improving efficiency. It seems to be a given these days that practices will struggle with a lack of efficiency. We've actually found that this expectation in and of itself can reduce efficiency and increase delays even further. In a recent survey, when patients were asked why they arrived late to their appointment, 30% said that they had assumed that the previous appointment would run long. Patients expect to be kept waiting, and to some extent, we expect that patients will be kept waiting. And so the first thing we need to address is our attitudes and the attitudes of our patients. So let me start by telling you about the efficiency I observed in a practice I visited a couple of weeks ago. At this practice, patients could not make appointments online, but they could either phone up or make an appointment in person. There were never more than 2 receptionists working in the morning, and the practice generally scheduled 80 appointments each day. Patients who were not attending a follow-up appointment were required to make their appointment on the day of. Can you imagine what that practice was like in the first couple of hours they were open? The receptionists were inundated by calls and walk-ins trying to schedule appointments. As you can imagine, patients who had seen what the practice was like in the morning expected that if they didn't have the first slot of the day, they'd be delayed by at least 10 minutes. So naturally, they arrived to their appointment 10 minutes late. One of the most important things you really must address in your practice in order to improve efficiency is the way you present your practice to patients. If they believe that you are always running late, guess what? They'll be running late too. Now, let's think for a moment about what needs to be done on the patient's end before an appointment can take place. You might be thinking that there are only 2 steps to the process. 1, the patient books an appointment, and 2, the patient arrives at the practice in time for their appointment. Well, we healthcare professionals often forget that there's actually a step that comes before this. Firstly, the patient must decide that their issue is significant enough to warrant an appointment. So, about a decade ago, my practice was really struggling from a lack of efficiency. I was working extremely long hours to try to accommodate everyone, and I was becoming increasingly frustrated with conducting appointments that didn't seem strictly necessary. I got to thinking about how I might be able to help patients to reconsider their initial assumption when booking appointments and to treat minor issues at home. At the same time, I did not want my patients to feel unsupported. I decided that I would begin to give weekly presentations in the evenings about self-care. As I tended to see a multitude of patients coming in for similar issues that they could actually treat themselves, each week I focused on a different common theme. The presentations lasted for just 1 hour, but I found that they resulted in 7 fewer unnecessary appointments each week. These days, of course, I no longer have to give a physical presentation. Thanks to modern technology, I simply upload instructional videos to our practice's website. We also email these videos out to patients periodically. We can and should make use of technology as a tool in our practices to help us improve efficiency. However, it's important to note that while many, perhaps even the majority of your patients will be capable of using technology to arrange their appointments, there are many people uncomfortable or unable to use technology, so you must always make sure that these patients are accommodated too. Providing your patients with more options rather than replacing old options is often the best practice for improving efficiency. Now, let's move on to look at a practice that used technology in a surprising way.
Okay, so did you answer all the questions? Were the questions easy? I don't think it was very difficult, but when I discuss the answers, we might feel like some questions were confusing because you feel like at first when you hear, you might feel like that is the answer, but when you look at it, you feel like that is not the answer. So I think there are questions like it, but other than that, it is perfectly fine. All right, a few more people saying good evening to me. Claude and Lois, good evening. Reshma Sajeev, good evening, Reshma. Shobhika Ajit, good evening. Good evening, everyone. So happy to see you all here. So while I discuss the answers, you can actually comment down your answers. Okay. So, I'll give you some time to copy down these questions or take a screenshot of this on another device so that when we discuss the answers with the help of audio script, you would be able to follow it properly because you have these questions with you and you are looking at the audio script. So it would be really easy for you to connect and understand what is being said. Otherwise, you would find it hard to relate to what is being discussed. So it's important that you have these questions with you handy and that you have the opportunity, you have the chance to look at both the questions and the discussion part. Okay, so Angel Jamon, good evening. So just copy down these questions. Question number 37. Dr. Johnson explains that delays are increased when patients believe option A, their appointment will not begin on time. Option B, staff are not concerned about late arrivals. Option C, being late for appointments will not impact others. Question number 38. Dr. Johnson uses an example of poor efficiency to illustrate the point that option A, healthcare professionals should assist staff during busy times. Option B, practices should avoid limiting appointment booking options. Option C, staff should be trained to handle demanding situations. Question number 39. Dr. Johnson explains that in order to improve efficiency, healthcare practices must option A, sanction patients arriving later than 10 minutes. Option B, avoid booking appointments in the morning. Option C, show patients that they can run on time. Question number 40. Dr. Johnson says healthcare professionals often forget that patients who book appointments must first, option A, feel that they need a consultation. Option B, find a time and date that works for them. Option C, consider what might be causing their issue. Question number 41. What happened when Dr. Johnson began giving weekly presentations to patients? Option A, Dr. Johnson was able to work fewer hours. Option B, the general health of patients was increased. Option C, the number of appointments at the practice decreased. For decrease, and I'll put that simple. Downward arrow and write SED. 42nd question. How does Dr. Johnson feel about the use of technology when booking appointments? Option A, practices should begin to encourage all patients to make bookings online. Okay. Option B, it can increase efficiency if other booking methods are continued. Option C, elderly people are most likely to struggle to use it. All right? Okay. So I hope you've all copied down the questions or taken a screenshot of this on another device and kept it with you. Now we'll discuss the answers. All right. Look at the first question. First question is, Dr. Johnson explains that delays are increased when patients believe. Option A is their appointment will not begin on time. Staff are not concerned about late arrivals. Being late for appointments will not impact others. Let's see. So now turn over and look at extract 2. You hear a physician called Dr. Hubert Johnson discussing improving efficiency at a healthcare practice. You now have 90 seconds to read questions 37 to 42. I've got an answer here. Reshma Sachi was saying 37, the answer is option A, that is their appointment will not begin on time. 𝐉𝐮𝐥𝐲 was saying the answer is A. Yes, others comment? Let's see. Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Hubert Johnson and I've been asked to speak to you about my experiences in the healthcare industry concerning something that affects all health professionals, improving efficiency. It seems to be a given case these days. Given case means it is widely accepted or assumed in the current time. Okay, that practices will struggle with a lack of efficiency. We've actually found that this expectation in and of itself can reduce efficiency and increase delays even further. Okay, in a recent survey, when patients were asked why they arrived late to their appointment, 30% said that they had assumed that the previous appointment would run long. Previous appointment would be long. So that means they believed what their appointment will not begin on time. The previous appointment will go long, would run long. So here for believed, they've used the word assumed. Okay, assumed. Okay, that will not begin on time. Previous appointment would run. They're saying they will not begin on time. Patients expect to be kept waiting, and to some extent, we expect the patients will be kept waiting. So the first thing we need to address is our attitudes and the attitudes of our patients. So here, they're not talking about staff are not concerned about late arrivals. We cannot see them talking about anything related to that. So we can easily eliminate that option. And we cannot also see them talking about being late for appointments will not impact others. No, they're not talking about that. They're saying these patients assumed that their appointment, the previous appointment, would run long. So Reshma, Sajeev, 𝐉𝐮𝐥𝐲, Anina Robin, very good. Good job. Your answers are correct. Answer for 37th question is option A. Very good. Others also, you can type in the answers, okay? Yes. Question number 38. Dr. Johnson uses an example of poor efficiency to illustrate the point that option A, healthcare professionals should assist staff during busy times. Option B, practices should avoid limiting appointment booking options. Okay. Option C, staff should be trained to handle demanding situations. So why is he giving the example of poor efficiency? He wants to illustrate one point. So here, since it is not an interview and since it is the presentation, the difference is that you have to find signposting language. You wouldn't be having questions as in an interview. In interview, you have some questions, so you know they'll be talking about question number 31, 37 or 38. But When it is a presentation, you have to look for signposting language. So the audio starts like this. Let me start by telling you about the efficiency I observed in a practice I visited a couple of weeks. So he is talking about the efficiency he observed. So why is he giving an example of poor efficiency? So we can understand they're going to talk about 38, the question. At this practice, patients could not make appointments online, but they could either phone up or make an appointment in person. There were never more than 2 receptionists walk in the morning, and the practice generally scheduled 80 appointments each day. Patients who were not attending a follow-up appointment were required to make their appointment on the day off. So can you imagine what that practice was like in the first couple of hours? They were open. The receptionists were inundated. That means overwhelmed or flooded with a large amount of something. So by calls and walk-ins trying to schedule appointments. So here, as you can imagine, patients who had seen what the practice was like in the morning expected that if they did not have this first slot of the day, they'd be delayed by at least 10 minutes. So naturally, they arrived at their appointment 10 minutes late. Okay, so here they're saying, why is he showing the example of poor efficiency? Because he wants the health professionals to assist staff during busy times? No, they're not talking about it, so we can easily eliminate that option. So are they talking about training the staff to handle difficult situations? No, we cannot see that option as well. So that option is also eliminated. Then what else can we see? We can see that practices should avoid limiting appointment booking option. So here appointment booking option was only through in person. That was the only method in which they could do through phone, but they could not book it online. So and it was hectic for the people, the receptionists who were working. So from that we can understand that they should not limit the appointment booking options. They should avoid limiting appointment booking options like phone, walk-in or online. How many options can be made available? That many should be available. They should not limit appointment booking options. Okay, so option B is your answer. Is it clear? 𝐉𝐮𝐥𝐲, 𝐿, they're all saying for 38 option B is the answer. Very good job, guys. Okay, let's move on to question number 39. Dr. Johnson explains that in order to improve efficiency, what do you have to do? Healthcare practices must sanction patients arriving later than 10 minutes. Option B, avoid booking appointments in the morning. Option C, show patients that they can run on time. Okay, so in order to improve efficiency, what should healthcare practices must do? Let's see. So signposting. Okay, one of the most important things that you really must address in your practice in order to improve efficiency, what do they have to do is the way you present your practice to patients. If they believe that you were always running late, guess what? They'll be running late too. So sanction patients arriving later than 10 minutes? No, they're not talking about that. Avoid booking appointments in the morning. They're not talking about morning appointments, but they're saying show patients that they can run on time. So if you were late, then the patients will be running later. So you show them you are on time. So you present your practice to patients. So option C is the answer. Yes, I've with many more people saying the answers. Nady Bijou is saying 39C, 𝐉𝐮𝐥𝐲 is 39C, Reshma Sajeev is saying option C, Sharanya Rakesh is saying option C, Manju Vijesh is saying option C. Very good, very good. Yes, many more are answering the questions. I'm so happy to see that you're all actively participating. Yes, Angel Jamon, your answer is also correct. Option C is the answer. Okay, so for some questions, see, the audio would be short. Right after saying the answer, they're moving on to the signposting for the next one. Okay, so you have to be very attentive. Next question. Question number 40. Dr. Johnson says. So if you have any questions, see, when I explain an answer, you wrote option A and I'm telling you option C is the answer. And I gave you explanation. Even after the explanation, you're not convinced why option C is the answer. You still believe option A is the answer. If you have such thoughts, you can comment, all right? Feel free to comment. That is the aim of this live. When you have questions, you can ask them in the comments and I will be more than happy to answer those questions, okay? Yes. Question number 40. So in question number 40, we can see them saying, Dr. Johnson says, healthcare professionals often forget that patients who book appointments must first, option A, feel that they need a consultation. Option B, find a time and date that works for them. Option C, consider what might be causing their issue. Let's look at it. Now let's think for a moment about what needs to be done on the patient's end before an appointment can take place. So patients who book the appointments must first, what do they have to do? You might be thinking that there are only 2 steps to the process. Okay, 1, the patient books an appointment. 2, the patient arrives at the practice. Okay, in time for their appointment. Well, we healthcare professionals often forget the key words. Healthcare professionals often forget the same sentences given here. Often forget that there is actually a step that comes before the step. It's the first step. Firstly, the patient must decide that their issue is significant enough to warrant an appointment. Significant enough for an appointment. So that matches with option A. They should feel that they need a consultation. So they're not talking about finding a date and time for the work that works for them. So we can eliminate that option. Option C, consider what might be causing their issue. So we cannot see them talking about saying that the patient should consider what actually might be causing their issue. So we cannot see such things. So such options are eliminated. See, every time you do your part B or part C, you should know why you didn't take the other options and this option is the answer. You should learn the elimination method. Okay, you should be able to eliminate the wrong option. So I have few people who have told me the answers. So 𝐉𝐮𝐥𝐲 is saying it is 40A. Very good, correct answer. 𝐼𝐵𝐵𝐿 is saying it is 40C. Why 𝐼𝐵? Is it clear? Consider what might be. 𝐼𝐵 is saying the answer is 40. For 40, the answer is C. Consider what might be causing their issue. So here, they're just saying they should, firstly, the patient might decide, okay, I got it. Okay. So you saw the word issue here. Firstly, the patient must decide that their issue is significant. So you thought that is the answer. But here, look at option C. Option C is saying, consider what might be causing their issue. Are they saying they should look what is causing their issue? No. They are saying they must decide the issue, the problem they have is significant to warrant an appointment. To ask for an appointment, it is significant. So they feel that they need a consultation. First, they have to feel that they need a consultation. So consider what might be causing their issue. They're not talking about that. Okay, they should decide what is causing their issue. No, that is not what they're saying. They're saying they should feel that they need a consultation. Is it clear, 𝐼𝐵? If it is not clear, let me know in the comments. I'll explain it to you. Okay, Sharanya Rakesh is saying option A. Reshma Sajeev, Angel Jamon, you're all saying 40A. Very good, right answer. So maybe if it's not clear, you can ask me. Okay, it is clear. Okay, very good. I'm happy for you. Okay, next one. Question number. See, this is what I said. Sometimes you think you would feel like sure. You have this feeling and you are so sure that this is the answer. But when the answer comes, it's a different one. So that is that thing is there with this material. What happened when Dr. Johnson began giving weekly presentations to patients? Option A, Dr. Johnson was able to work fewer hours. Okay. Option B, the general health of patients was increased. Option C, the number of appointments at the practice decreased. Okay. So, I think option A and option C are confusing. They are not talking about the general health of patients was increased. They're not talking about it. Let's see. Let's look at the audio and the signposting. About a decade ago, yes, 41, Reba is saying it's C. Let's see. About a decade ago, my practice was really struggling from lack of efficiency. I was working extremely long hours to try to accommodate everyone, and I was becoming increasingly frustrated with contacting appointments that did not seem strictly necessary. Okay. I got to thinking about how I might be able to help patients to reconsider their initial assumption. So he's talking about his presentation. So we have Reshma, Sajeev, Reba, Rijo, Angel, Jamon, Anina, Robin, Navy, Biju. They're all saying option C is the answer. Okay, let's see. That is the number of appointments at the practice decreased. Okay. At that time, I got to thinking about how I might be able to help patients to reconsider their initial assumption when booking appointments and to treat minor issues at home. So I might be able to help patients to reconsider their initial assumption when booking appointments. That is, initially they have this assumption they need to book appointments. So he was thinking how he would be able to help patients reconsider, think again about going and taking an appointment and to treat minor issues at home. At the same time, I did not want my patients to feel unsupported. So I decided that I would begin to give weekly presentations. So here they're talking about weekly presentations in the evenings about self-care, as I tended to see a multitude of patients coming in for similar issues that they could actually treat themselves. Each week, I focused on a different common theme. The presentations lasted for just 1 hour, but I found that they resulted in 7 fewer unnecessary appointments each week. So I have different answers here. Reshma Sajeev is saying 41B. Then remaining everyone saying Reba, Angel, Anina, Navy, they're all saying C. So Reshma, option B, the general health of patients was increased. Nowhere they're mentioning that point. We cannot see it. Which option confused you? I mean, which phrase confused you? I cannot see anything that could confuse you with that. The general health of patients was increased. Nowhere they've mentioned it. What they're saying is the presentations lasted just for 1 hour, but I found that they resulted in 7 fewer unnecessary appointments each week. So each week, 7 unnecessary appointments were reduced. So the number of appointments at the practice decreased. Option C is the answer. And again, I hope it is clear to you, Reshma. If it is not clear, you can let me know in the comments and I'll make it clear to you. All right. Yes. So let's move on to, so these days, of course, I no longer have to give a physical presentation thanks to modern technology. Yes, they're starting to talk about technology. Our next question is on technology. I simply upload instructional videos to our practice's website. We also email these videos out to patients periodically. So let's look at question number 42. How does Dr. Johnson feel about the use of technology when booking appointments? So Reba has come with the answer 42A. Let's see if that's the answer. How does Johnson feel about the use of technology when booking appointments? Option A, practices should begin to encourage all patients to make bookings online. Okay. Option B, it can increase efficiency if other booking methods are continued. Okay, elderly people are most likely to struggle to use it. Okay, does anyone have the answer of 42C? Let me see if I have any smart student here. Does anyone have 42C? Does anyone have 42C? No. Okay, nobody has 42C. Okay, very good. So Reba Rijo and Angel Jamon, they have option A as the answer. Navy has got option B as the answer. Okay, so let's see. We have got two answers, and we have no one saying option C. Is there anyone who has option C? Okay, if you're saying option C, then your answer is wrong because they're not talking about that. Okay, so you can see that. You can look at the signposting. We Anand should make use of technology as a tool. So what is the question? The use of technology. What does he feel about the use of technology in our practices to help us improve efficiency? However, it is important to note that while many, perhaps even the majority of your patients will be capable of using technology to arrange their appointments, okay, there are many people uncomfortable or unable to use technology. So you must always make sure that these patients are accommodated too. Here, what are they saying? Okay, this point is the one that has confused you. You might feel like the answer is option A because they have said this. It is important that what is option A? Practices should begin to encourage all patients to make bookings online. Are they saying that these practices should encourage all patients to make bookings online? No. What they are saying is there are many, okay, perhaps majority of the people know how to do it, okay, to arrange appointments online. There are many people who are uncomfortable or unable to use technology, so you should accommodate them. They're not saying you have to encourage them to book appointments online. They're not talking about encouraging these people. What they're saying is the majority know it, majority of the people know it, so you should also accommodate this minority. You should also consider them. You should also make sure that these patients are accommodated too. These people are also able to book their appointments. Okay, that's what they're saying. They're nowhere mentioning that all the patients should make the bookings online. So option A is the wrong option. Then what is the answer? I know it's confusing, So you must always make sure that these patients are accommodated too. Providing your patients with more options rather than replacing old options is often the best practice for improving efficiency. So what they're saying, providing more options rather than replacing. So look at option B. Option B is saying it can increase efficiency if other booking methods are continued. So here, this is also given in a twisted way. What is the twisted way? More options are given, providing you more options rather than replacing. Replacing means what? If I'm replacing this mic, what will happen? I will have to change this mic and put another mic. So I'm changing this old mic, right? So similarly, rather than replacing old options, what are the old options? That is walk-in booking appointment, phone call. So rather than replacing them with online, it is often patients, you should provide more options. So you should keep like walk-in booking appointments, you should keep phone, and along with it you can add online. If you're doing that, it will improve the efficiency. So option B is saying it can increase efficiency if other booking methods are continued. What? Phone and all the other things are continued. If they're not replaced, more efficiency. Now you feel like it's the direct answer? Yes or no? So those of you who wrote option A as the answer, Reba and Angel, I hope it is clear. If it is not clear, you can ask me. Feel free to ask me, okay? So yes, Naibi Biju is saying 42B. Sharanya Rakesh is saying 42B. Reshma Suji was saying B. And Anina Robin is saying B. Very good. Good job, guys. Clear. Okay, very good, very good. Yes, I'm so happy to know that it's clear to you, Rija and Angel. So I'll show the answers once again on the screen. 37, option A. 37, option A. 38, option B. You can read and you can look at the questions, okay? The options. 39, option C. 40, A, 41C, and 42B. Okay, so tell me, how much could you score? Let this comment session be your scorecard. Let me know your score in the comments. 5 out of 6. Reba Rija, very good. Good job. That's a good score actually. If you're aiming for a B, getting a 5 in your part 6 track 2 is actually a good score. Because I've told you the marks already, right? 24 and below is actually C. Then 25 to 29 is C plus, 30 to 39 is B. Then 40 to 42 is your A. Anina Robin, 4, not bad. Naibi Biju, 5, yes, good job. Reshma Saji, 5, Angel Jamun, 5, very good. You guys have got really good scores. Okay, this material was a bit confusing. 2 questions were actually confusing, I would say. Question number 42 and 40 was also a bit confusing for some. Yes. Other than that, no other question was very confusing. So 4, 5, those are all really good scores. Okay, so keep practicing. Make sure that you don't lose the connection with your material like a single day. You keep in touch with it till your exam. Okay, always say consistency is very important. It's not just the hard work. Yes, hard work is there. We also say you have to work smart. You have to work smarter. So smart work is there. So make sure you're working smart, because some people have this nature. They'll be sitting one whole day doing a lot of material. Then for a week they wouldn't do anything. But even if you're spending 1 hour every day, but consistently if you're spending that, results will be there. Okay, so keep working towards your dreams, and we will meet again in the next live, which will be on Wednesday at 8 p.m. Until then, bye-bye, good night, and take care. Thank you.